1:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Indrani Senanayake. The headlines. The government decides to provide 5,000 hectares of land in Monaragala to farmers for temporary cultivation. It has been stressed in Parliament that forest resources should be safeguarded on behalf of the future generations. A youth parliamentary forum will be established in the near future. University entrance cut-off marks for the candidates sitting the 2021 GCE advanced level examination will be released this afternoon. A permanent national policy should be prepared speedily to rebuild the country. In foreign news, Zelensky aid reveals up to 13,000 war dead. The government has decided to provide 5,000 hectares of land in the Kotiagala area in Monaragala to farmers for temporary cultivation activities. 8,000 hectares of land belonging to the Forest Conservation Department has been allocated for reforestation. This decision was taken at a discussion held under the patronage of the Chief of the Presidential Staff, Sagala Ratnayake. Today is the 9th day of committee stage budget debate in Parliament. The vote on accounts of the Ministries of the Environment, Wildlife Conservation, Tourism and Land were taken up for debate. Joining in the debate, parliamentarian C.B. Ratnayake said that forest resources should be safeguarded on behalf of the future generations. Parliamentarian Sarath Fonseca stated that clashes between the Forest Conservation Department and the Wildlife Department have erupted due to surveys not being carried out to demarcate the respective lands. Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abewardena said in Parliament today that a youth parliamentary forum will be established. A meeting in this regard will be held tomorrow morning. He invited all parliamentarians to participate in it. The Ministry of Education has announced that the enrollment of students for the year 2023 for mid-term classes can be made after the 24th of March at the end of the third school term. This process will be considered according to the existing vacancies in each school on the circular issued by the Ministry of Education. Meanwhile, the University Grants Commission says that the university entrance cut-off marks for the candidates sitting the 2021 GCE advanced level examination will be released this afternoon. The cut-off marks can be accessed from the official website of the UGC, www.ugc.ac.lk. Parliamentarian S.B. Disanayake said that the higher education system in the country can be developed as a main foreign income revenue. He stated that the decision taken by the President to establish private universities in Sri Lanka for foreign students is a program needed for the present time. He made these remarks while participating in the Dasa Desin Hatha program of the SLBC this morning. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. We continue with local news. Parliamentarian Buddhika Patirana says that a permanent national policy should be prepared speedily to rebuild the country. It should be prepared representing politicians, the general public and state officials. Participating in the Subharati program of the SLBC, he said that it is their responsibility to safeguard this policy. A 3-member committee has been appointed by Minister Nimal Seripala de Silva to look into the malpractices being carried out in the Ports Authority. All complaints regarding the malpractices can be submitted to this committee. A report should be provided to the Minister within a period of 6 months after thorough investigation into this matter. That ends the local segment of news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The health sector has warned that rat fever is spreading rapidly all over the country. Dr. Tushani Dabare of the Epidemiology Unit has requested the farmer community to obtain the antibiotic before 1 week of engaging in paddy cultivation. These antibiotics are being provided by the government free of charge. She further stated that if farmers have symptoms of rat fever, immediate treatment should be sought. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Celebrate Christmas and New Year with lots of CIB discounts. Valuable gifts with bank discounts till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
And now we take a look at Watchlight. The residents in Hambantota say that the Rakava road has not been reconstructed for a long period of time. This has caused many difficulties in transportation in the area. They requested the Tangala Pradeshiya Sabha to renovate this road as soon as possible. This is for the attention of the chairman of the Tangala Pradeshiya Sabha and came to you in Watchlight.
Celebrate Christmas and New Year with lots of CIB discounts. Valuable gifts with bank discounts till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher.
Never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines. Up to 13,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed since the start of Russia's invasion. The young people powering the demonstrations in China. Senate passes bill to avert labor stoppage. A senior official has said that up to 13,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed since the start of Russia's invasion. An advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said between 10,000 and 13,000 troops had died. It is rare for Ukraine to give figures for casualties, and the advisor's comments have been confirmed by the country's military. In June, he said between 100 and 200 Ukrainian soldiers were dying daily. Last month, the most senior U.S. General Mark Milley said around 100,000 Russians and 100,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed or injured since the start of the war. In China last weekend, a new generation emerged, many taking part in their first ever public protest. On the streets, they demanded a release from a zero-COVID policy that has been in force for nearly 3 years. In Shanghai, protesters had been quiet at first. They had gathered to pay tribute to victims of an apartment block fire in the western Xinjiang region. Many believed COVID measures had prevented escape from the flames. So, under heavy police guard, they grieved. They held up blank papers in protest, laid flowers, remained silent. The U.S. Senate has overwhelmingly approved a measure to block a strike by railway workers that could have a devastating impact on the U.S. economy. In an 80-15 vote, the Senate passed a bill that imposes a contract deal on a dozen unions representing railway workers. It was passed in an expedited vote as U.S. President Joe Biden urged lawmakers to act quickly to avoid a strike. An amendment to add paid sick leave for workers, however, failed to pass. The bill was tabled in Congress after Mr. Biden cautioned that a strike by railway workers could have a significant economic impact that would hurt millions of other working people and families. To end this bulletin of world news, we take a look at the headlines again. Up to 13,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed since the start of Russia's invasion. Young people powering the demonstrations in China. Senate passes bill to avert labor stoppage. That ends this bulletin of world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance.
In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
On to development news. 400 agri-lands in the Gaur district will be utilized for cultivation activities. The objective of this move is to fulfill the needs of rural foods. The government is providing necessary facilities in this regard. State Minister Mohanty De Silva said that the government will spend 2.1 million rupees on this project, and that was development news. We now take a look at sports news. The Katukurunda motor race event will begin tomorrow. It will be conducted until Sunday at the Katukurunda running track. 128 competitors from 10 sport clubs will participate at the event. It is organized by the Motor Race Control Board.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
On to business news. The Ministry of Plantation says that 6 million coconut saplings have been produced this year. The support of the Coconut Research Institute and the Coconut Development Board will be providing this cultivation purpose. Several entrepreneurs have been encouraged to participate in this program.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
On to economic news. Measures will be taken to charge a tax from the Hambantota port. The Hambantota Urban Council said that this will be implemented from next year. Assessment activities will be carried out by the Department of Evaluation. That was economic news. And finally, we take a look at the weather report. The Met Department says that showers or thunder showers will occur in the northern, eastern and north-central provinces and in the Hambantota district. Showers or thunder showers will occur elsewhere during the afternoon or at night. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters are likely at some places in the western, Sabragamo and central provinces and in the Gaul and Matara districts. To end this afternoon's news broadcast, we take a look at the headlines again. The government decides to provide 5,000 hectares of land in Moraragala for farmers for temporary cultivation. It has been stressed in Parliament that forest resources should be safeguarded on behalf of the future generations. A youth parliamentary forum will be established in the near future. University entrance cut-off marks for the candidates sitting the 2021 GCE Advanced Level Examination will be released this afternoon. A permanent national policy should be prepared speedily to rebuild the country. And in foreign news, Zelensky aid reveals up to 13,000 war dead. That ends this afternoon's news broadcast.